Hello, everybody. We are back. Hopefully, you can hear audio. Hopefully, we have got everything on. We rejoin our coterie as they travel with All Right through the sewers of Nottingham towards the caves. The caves permeate the underground of Nottingham city centre and even further. And in the world of darkness, in the world of Nottingham by Night, many of the unused caves are used by the Nosferatu community, which is by far currently in the 1970s the largest community of kindred throughout the Midlands, even really. And by large, we're talking about maybe 20 or so. Being a vampire is quite a rare thing. So I've got a few more sort of pictures. As you move through the sewers, you notice that All Right is checking way markers and various signs and symbols on here, so not to get lost. It seems that it's such a maze that it is actually quite difficult, and even skilled Nosferatu have had to leave subtle reminders of exactly where they are. You kind of move through and you come to an interesting part of the sewers that is covered in roots. It is slightly lit. There is still this channel of water. But for those of you who perhaps don't like grime and dirt, there are many of these tangling roots dripping down and almost brushing your face. It is unpleasant. The journey doesn't take particularly long though, and you begin to come into the caves of Nottingham themselves. The caves of Nottingham, again, sort of lit. I'll reduce that down a bit for people. But the perfect hiding place for those that do not wish to be seen, those that wish to remain hidden from the surface world. And you guided through. Sorry, I should have shared the other sewers with you. I need to remember I need to share it with actually our coterie so that they can see the pictures in true glory as well, so that they can take in the ambience. You move through these caves. It's twisting and turning, and he's perfectly right. You really are finding it difficult to know exactly where you are under the city. You do see occasionally one or two Nosferatu, equally sort of twisted. The clan of Nosferatu suffer. Some might say it's a gift, some might say it's a bane of strange, twisted forms. It's one of the reasons why they stay hidden. Eventually, though, you see ahead of you light, but not just white light, multicolours cascading out of a side entrance into a larger cave. This is where All Right is directing you to. He kind of says this way, this is where we're going. Have you ever met the professor before? Have any of you in your time? There's a good chance that you might have done.
I have met the professor briefly.
Yep.
I've had
Occasions.
no dealings with him.
I have met the professor in passing.
He's very clever. He's very good, but he doesn't suffer fools. It's probably best to be upfront with him. Just saying. Now, don't forget, and again he hits his rubberized nose. You know, you didn't see me, yeah? You saw nothing. And he kind of limps in, and you see why these multicolored light is shining out into the darkness as you enter his laboratory. Totally unexpected in these caves here. There is beautiful sort of Victorian furniture, strange dials and lights as the professor himself is moving around, tinkering with dials, hitting sort of readouts. The professor himself has a Nosferatu form. He is quite tall, standing maybe a good 6'7", very thin. He covers most of his form up though with a large smoking jacket made of velvet. It is currently a beautiful deep blue trimmed with gold. He has black trousers, finely pressed, and spat Victorian shoes, black and white, immaculately polished and laced. He turns. The Coterie. Albert, my friend, it has been far, far too long.
It really has. It's lovely to meet you again.
Indeed.
Admittedly, in somewhat trying circumstances, but
It is. It is. Come in. As he kind of gestures you in. As you step through the entranceway, the thing that you failed to see until you stepped through is that pinned to the wall of this beautiful, immaculate laboratory is Casper. A stake jammed right through his heart. So heavily is that it's actually lifted him off the ground and stabbed into the wall, pinning him. He hangs there like a rag doll, paralysed, but most definitely aware of his surroundings. You see that.
Firstly, I would like to make it extremely clear to you that Casper was attempting to drag us into his schemes, but we were reluctant to assist him in any way.
Absolutely. It's an easier way to keep track on some people, have them hanging around to say, hanging around, you get it?
Yes.
Funny.
So yes, as you say, troubling times indeed, and as you are the foremost coterie of Nottingham, really, I thought it was time that in these trying times that we put our heads together a little tete-a-tete and discussed things. Please take some seats. I'm afraid I have to give. It's a very sensitive experimentation that I am doing at the moment, and I just can't leave it alone. So hopefully you don't mind if I work and talk, as it were.
We wouldn't wish to distract you from your work.
Splendid. But it's no distraction. This is of importance.
Honestly, rather not be here at all. So,
Hey, speak for yourself. These caves are fascinating.
They are indeed. They date back a
They're-
very long time.
nothing compared to the catacombs of Paris.
Well,
I mean, the history in these are it's magnificent.
The catacombs of Paris are full of dead bodies.
I
can be
mean, so
very
are these
grim
caves if you
sometimes.
look in the right places.
He's not wrong. Anyway, to business. Oh, sorry. Excuse my manners. Yes. Would any of you require something to suck upon whilst we talk business? I'm forgetting my hospitality.
I would not say no.
Exactly. I mean, would rat do you?
Rat would do fine, although I might need a small bucket full of them.
Right. Wow, we can do that. All right. All right.
It's a bit rich for my taste, I'm afraid, but thank you for the offer. Thank you dearly.
Well, bring us a bargain bucket of rats, as it were. I'm sure James will finish them off if no one else wants one. I'm feeling a little peckish myself. So, anyway, talk and work, and he kind of almost absent-mindedly moves off and begins to tinker with things. So, as he's not watching you, but he's doing experimentation, he's got his back to you, but he's still talking to you. What exactly do you know so far? Just so I don't cover old ground.
Caspar had something. The Tremere want it.
Oh,
It was a box. That's about what we know.
right. Well, little information then. Ooh, I've had to make some inquiries myself. Ever since Caspar arrived and went all quiet on me all of a sudden, I've had to make a number of very important phone calls. And yes, it is becoming clear. We have some problems. Some problems. It depends on how you look at it. Let me rephrase that. You have some problems.
People have been saying that about me for quite a while.
I totally understand where they're coming from, James.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Not
Can't argue with
in a positive light. It is
I mean, it's
sometimes
just nice to have confirmation, I think.
yes, it is sometimes good to have problems. It keeps one's mind busy. Experimentation, always moving forward. He's having this conversation, as I say, with his back to you. So, yes, the box is the tip of the iceberg. If you don't understand this reference, icebergs are small at the top and they have a much, much bigger girth hidden underneath the waters. It's a fabulous word, is it not?
What, iceberg or girth?
Girth, absolutely.
Right.
It,
Okay.
it really, sums up what you mean. Anyway, yes, so you understand my meaning is the box and whatever is in it will have a degree of importance, but it is the first shot fired across our bow. It is a declaration of intent, and it
Are
is.
you feeling in a very naval mood today?
I am. I do like my boats. Fabulous things, They bob up and down on the water, and float. They take people from one place to another, unless they crash into icebergs, and we all know how dangerous those are. And that is what you are facing at the moment. You are facing something that you can see clearly, this box, but you cannot see everything that lurks beneath the ocean. I am about to tell you what lurks beneath the ocean, though, and then you can make a much more judged decision on how you act. This is not out of the kindness of my withered and dead, non-beating heart, but out of a degree of self-preservation and not being disturbed in my duties here.
What exactly are your duties here? You seem to have a wide variety of bizarre equipment.
Oh, my duties are my own, and that's what I mean. That is how I like it. I am independent here. I am not at the beck and call of any baron or prince. My time is my time. They don't tell me to go and find out information. Oh, Nosferatu, you good at kind of hiding. No one knows you're there. You know everything. I mean, the answer is yes, we do, but I do it when I want to, as opposed to being told. I have currently and had currently freedom here for a very long time, and that is how I want to keep it.
I believe that is one thing that we can agree on. Freedom
Absolutely.
is paramount to all of us in Nottingham, I believe.
Yes, and I'm afraid that freedom is in jeopardy. And that's another one of my favourite words.
Indeed.
I mean, just say it. Come on. Just for me. Jeopardy.
Jeopardy.
Yeah, it sounds good. It's got such power behind it. So, this Tremere that is arrived in our fine city of Nottingham, I believe her name is Miss Summer. She is here to search for the hand. And maybe not even the hand, for I have had a little whisper in my ear that it might be not the hand that is the real prize, but something that resides within the box instead. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
No?
No. Okay. Well, I mean, had you brought the box here, perhaps we could have opened it together and had a look ourselves, but it seems that, unfortunately, you had maybe forgotten to bring it here, or perhaps deliberately decided it was not in your best interests.
Oh, it was deliberate, yeah.
Yes, I
Completely deliberate.
most assuredly would have done the same, so
Exactly.
bravo indeed. Oh, here's your bucket of rats.
Ooh!
And
Run over
Aop
to the
kind of
bucket of
struggles in,
rats.
and it's not so much a bucket as kind of a you know the old metal dustbins,
Oh, yeah.
and he's kind of struggling, pulling it along the floor, and he just kind of slams it down. The rats are struggling to get out.
Gonna dig in.
Yeah. You all see James begin to pick these rats up and feed from them. Do any of you partake?
No.
Absolutely not.
I do not.
Professor, you said you were a bit hungry. Are you joining?
Oh, absolutely. He, for this first time, sort of turns round, gives you one of those smiles. Kind of, he's got a strange walk. He's not used, almost like he's not used to being as tall as he actually is, and he kind of lurches forward, reaches down and grabs one of the rats quite deftly, picks it up, and as it's still moving, it begins to feed from it. Oh,
While
very
he's
good.
feeding,
Yep.
is there any way I can look at the experiment and try and make any judgment call as to maybe what he's trying to do?
Absolutely. You can do that. Once again, we are moving on, pitching a skill. I mean, this is science. This most definitely is an occult. So one would imagine that technology or science would be useful here, along with intelligence.
Okay, I'll go for technology and intelligence.
Yeah, well, you've got at least one dot in technology and none in science, so I would certainly agree that that was
Indeed.
the better choice.
Okay. Well,
You
had to
kind
try.
of look around and I mean, this is strange. It's kind of straight out of the movie theatres, you're not even sure if it's actually real, if it's actually got any purpose. There are beautiful, as per the illustration, sort of lights and dials and everything else, but it makes little to no sense to you at all. So, icebergs. Small at the top, big at the bottom.
Ah, we're
Indeed.
back to that again.
So,
Okay.
Suppose when your name is Professor, you should expect this. So.
well,
Sorry,
I am actually a genuine professor. I have a certificate and everything to prove it. There is no easy way to explain this, and it puts you in a pickle, a predicament, and it will be most interesting to see how the current nights will play out. Unfortunately, Casper, he kind of points his finger at the dangling individual, just for our viewers to know that a stake through the heart in a kindred doesn't kill them, it just puts them into paralysis. They are aware of everything going on but unable to move. So Casper can take in all of this information. The bringing of the box here is a mistake, but it is not the thing that truly has brought attentions upon ourselves. It seems that the politics of London, of our Prince, Queen Anne, and her trying to maintain the accords of Albion and the tenants of Mithras, is losing her battle against the Camarilla. While she pays lip service to them, they are wanting to exert more influence upon London. She has become so focused with the south and the city of commerce. Ventruse, eh? Ventruse. So it is my understanding that there are a degree of shenanigans going on, and that is yet another of my favourite words.
And one, I do actually agree with you. Shenanigans is a fantastic word.
There we go. We agree on two things now.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can make it a hat trick.
Let's not push it.
Oh.
And I'll sort of heft my hammer a little bit, but not in an overly threatening way.
You are indeed a feisty one. Some of my Nosferatu like hanging out in your little establishment. I like listening to the music, and they all are amazed on your customer service skills.
Do they?
Yes.
James, why have you not told me that we have Nos in the shop?
Looks up from his, at this point, 18th rat and goes, I assumed you knew, and then just starts eating again.
Sorry,
wish I could see these things.
They were not up to anything. I mean, to be honest, let's face it, all of you really haven't been up to much for a very long time.
That's the way I like it.
Yes,
Nice
that
and
is
quiet.
very much about to change. Back with my tale. It seems that the Camarilla of Europe, it is, as we say, they are looking to exert substantially more influence upon Albion, upon Queen Anne. The Tremere and the Toreadors still are upset about certain incidents back in the past, and they are looking for a very easy spot to which to grow their standing, and that spot is here in the Midlands. They are looking, they have already got certain permissions from Queen Anne to form baronies here in the places that do not have any barons. I mean, we know that Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool have barons, but there are many more places where the kindred communities are so small there has been little to no need for such things. But now, with the Camarilla very, very kindly offering their help to Queen Anne to bring order to these areas, times are a-changing.
Can't we just let it wait for a bit, and then in 30, 40 years or so, Mithras will come back again and kick them all out again?
Yeah, well, that would be fine if that was possible. But Mithras, as we know, he's long gone. Not confirmed meeting the final death, and I think many of us have a hope that he will return. But in the meantime, freedoms are at risk. I am merely warning you of what is about to happen. A storm of Camarilla is going to come up here, and they are going to attempt to not just exert their presence on you, but they want to show Queen Anne that the European Camarilla way of doing things is right, and they want to exert political pressures to help her fall in line.
Well,
I
forgive
might
me
have
for saying,
after you.
Professor, but it seems you're equally invested in that not happening as we are. No
Indeed.
interest in.
I totally agree. So, my strengths and the strengths of my clan, my brothers, sisters, sons, and friends that lurk below the surface, is in gathering information and remaining unseen and remaining neutral. I am best to serve you in a more subtler way. They are coming whether you like it or not. If you wish to make them feel that they are not welcome here, you will have to take some matters into your own hands. I am not suggesting that the four of you go to open war with the Camarilla, but there are other kindred that exist around Nottingham and the surrounding districts, many of them who harbour strong dislike of the Camarilla, and by rallying them together into some kind of anarchy, you can perhaps make the Camarilla's life uncomfortable so that they think twice about putting roots down here.
I mean, that makes sense. Lots of Tremere and Toreador coming in.
Yeah. The Tremere tend to in my experience, have their own aims, whether they side with Camarilla or not. But do you, in your infinite wisdom, he says, whilst in between sucking on a rat, do you know who or where the allegiance of this Rebecca?
Oh, she will say Queen Anne, but she is true Tremere, and her allegiance is with, well, the Tremere and the Camarilla of Europe. She is the advanced guard, as it were. She is using the excuse of this hand as a reason to travel here, and perhaps already speaking to some of the other kindred in the region about putting roots down here. They haven't got too much of a head start at the moment. One thing that I am certain, though, is that that box that Casper here smuggled out has some important significance. Something that she wants Queen Anne would perhaps like returned or lost for the moment, and something that we could very much use in our struggles that are upcoming.
Okay, so what's in the box then, if not just this arm?
I would like to see with my own eyes. I am fairly schooled in the histories of kindred, and it occurred to me immediately that Roman Tremeres do not exist.
Mm-hmm.
That it is a red herring, smokescreen. But there is, and you get a feel for these things, there is talk about this box, and the people that are talking about it wouldn't be talking about it if it didn't have importance. Perhaps next time that you are passing by, if you would be kind to bring the box in and I could have a look, I might be able to inform you more.
Okay.
But
It's
my
something we'll
advice,
consider, I believe.
we are friends. I genuinely offer you the hand of friendship at the moment. I do not.
Insight check.
So you would be the first Nosferatu to have done so to myself, at least. So
Oh,
That'd be-
really? And we agree on so many things. Well, we agree on two things at the moment: freedom and shenanigans. Now that is a party in a box, if nothing else.
indeed,
That
it
is a
is.
pretty good starting place for sure.
So you want to do insight, and it would probably be manipulation. You understanding manipulation. Okay.
My dice hate me tonight, don't they? Oh well.
I mean, there is a thing within Vampire that you can, if you want, spend some willpower to roll 3 of those dice again, but it is your choice.
Yeah, I want to do that. How do I
I
do
have
that?
no idea.
So there's a little button next to willpower marked SP.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spend willpower.
Okay.
Press that and you can pick the dice.
Hey,
And
dice.
then, yeah, we had this issue before. Sorry. It does work occasionally, but in this instance, it doesn't seem to have. Okay.
if you just want to just roll, I think if you click on the D10, if you right click on the D10 that's below the chat box, you'll be able to choose. Well, you'll be able to put it over a number and press on that, and it will roll some dice. So if you roll 3, if that's what you want to do.
She only has 2 she
Oh,
can
sorry,
roll.
yeah, sorry, 2.
That's true. I'm confused. I'm going to roll one then another because I can't work out how to do multiple dice.
Oh, there you go.
Come on.
So that is 2. You, after all that shenanigans, you have no idea. He is quite obviously a master of misdirection and
I
talk.
was gonna say I would quite like to join in on that check. Since I've been
Absolutely.
very suspicious of him throughout.
Oh, very suspicious.
Please do better than me. Come on.
Look at
There we
that.
go. That's more like
Yes,
it.
thank you.
4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Even this is difficult. He is a primogen. He is a Nosferatu. They have many things. The one thing that you are sure about, he definitely likes the words shenanigans and freedom. And beyond that, you are.
I'm
Yeah,
still extremely untrusting of him in general.
yeah, it's not that he's persuaded you, but he has put his point forward. He did send someone to spy on you. Absolutely.
Which is fine. Yeah.
Sure, why not?
So, yeah, he's very good. He is very good. And sometimes, a 4 is just not enough to read through. Especially the Nosferatu to our viewers are kind of like spy masters, and this is the king of the spy masters in this area. So he says, I hope you will parcel up my words and carry them home with you and think on them. The night grows short and the day is coming soon. I think,
Professor,
yes.
in the spirit of goodwill, as we seem like we're allied and going forward, do you think the Nos are so well known for being traders of information and knowing things that the rest of us aren't aware of? Gesture of goodwill, could you tell us something about Rebecca Summers that we're not already aware of?
He smiles. I do like it when you work your charms upon me. It sounds reasonable enough. Now, if only I knew what you knew about her, then maybe I could help you.
Well, I know she's very intimidating,
Yeah.
and she likes to turn up unannounced.
She came into the store and tried to bully us around with ridiculous threats.
Well, that is the Camarilla, is it not? After all, they like their words before they make a move. I'm currently looking into Miss Summers. She has worked or resided down in London as an official Tremere for a good number of years now. She has quite a formidable reputation in certain occult areas. She certainly, I believe, can very much back up any threats that she makes. I'm also aware that now that she's here, she is going to be trying to speak to a number of other local kindred. We are by far few in this region. I do not think that she is going to get very far with the knowledges I have with them. But even so, if she even gets one on side, that is one less to rebel against the laws of the Ivory Tower. Now, now that she's got her feet under the bed, I believe she will be calling in others, and very soon there will be a call claiming one of them to be the appointed Baron for the area. So, you should act fast.
Or maybe you can tell us who you know she's going to visit. So I'm known to be a little persuasive.
You
That's
are
perhaps.
you are indeed long-lived here. You will no doubt recognise these names that I tell you, as he says, the key ones. You're all aware that there are very few kindred in the area. This is one of the reasons why it's just not been worth the Camarilla or Queen Anne's time to really do anything in this area. And it has gave you all autonomy to be able to go about your general business. But there are the druids, those that inhabit Wonderland, Lost Souls, the Lady of the Lake, and the Old Wolf. Now you are all aware of them. There's no real dice rolls needed. Some better than others. The Druids are a group of Sabbat that run with a biker motorcycle club. The reason why they're called the Druids is they actually hang out, technically own a pub called the Druids Arms in Loughborough. But they like their bikes. They are not particularly too subtle when the masquerade is sort of, they've not quite broken it, but they are perhaps the least subtle kindreds in the area. They are known to be involved in a number of types of organized crime. But you need to head down to the Druids Arms and speak with those. I'll give you more details in a little while, but you are familiar with it. Wonderland is a strange place. It is an abandoned property in its own grounds in Nottingham itself. It's inhabited by a coterie that run it as a drugs den. There are a number of kindred that have taken on the personas of Alice in Wonderland. Exactly who their real identities are or not, you are unsure. But you have perhaps been there once or twice, and having met them, you know what they look like. This is the person, the kindred, that is known as Alice. Then there is, the Red Queen, who kind of is the head of the coterie. No one really knows what they look like, constantly wearing a porcelain mask, draped in red cloth. There is also the Hatter, another kindred. Enjoys his work, quite possibly Malkavian. And then finally there is the White Rabbit. It is a strange place, a wonderland to those that go there to seek drugs. Some of them disappear, some of them are used to be fed upon. Again though, they don't particularly see the types that might be happy to make alliances with the Ivory Tower. That said, who knows? Then Lady of the Lake, someone by the name of Cordelia Lucius. She was once a Tremere and could maybe be persuaded back into the order. She is said though to have lost her mind, and she now spends most of the time below water in Attenborough Nature Reserve. She has her haven deep in the banks. She can be called out of the water, and when she does, She is somewhat twisted and bloated. Other than Cordelia, closer to home in the centre of Nottingham, there is a nightclub, an underground nightclub that does blues and soul music called simply Lost Souls. Here, it is run by a kindred by the name of Timandra. Now, Timandra is a dangerous person, probably one of the more dangerous kindreds. She is a La Sombra, hiding out. She can control the shadows around her. She is relatively well known to you, running this club, especially with you being associated with stranger sounds. And then the only other kindred of note is out to the north in the Peak Districts, on the southern edge of the Peak Districts, known as the Old Wolf. This individual is known as... sorry, let me call up the picture. Luca Saint Amand, a guru, living rough in the woods. You've had little to no contact with him, but you are aware of his presence. And they are the key kindred other than yourselves in the region.
Oh, I do hope she visits the guru first.
I mean, they all sound delightful, don't they?
Mm.
In many ways, it makes your coterie look very much normal.
That is something that has definitely not been said about us in
I
a
take
very long
offence at that.
Exactly, James.
I've got some things I need to take care of. If we could, after demolishing an entire metal bin of rats to reduce my hunger, do you think I could get somebody to take me back out? Because last time I was down here, that's a month of my own life I probably will never get back.
It is confusing, and it is doubly so. He kind of leans forward and conspiratorially kind of whispers to you. You know what? The Nos change the signs all the time.
Oh, that explains it. I could have sworn I was going around in circles for
I
at least
think
3 weeks.
I can remember. Quite often they follow you, you know.
Well, I did eventually. I stopped them from following me because I can also see you.
It is very good. We like it that way when people think they can see us all the time.
Yeah, me too.
It gives you that sense of security, and there's
I
nothing
agree.
better than I like for people to have a sense of security.
I very much agree.
Well, I mean, I think we are done here. I very much appreciate your time coming and this very candid talk. I'm a little disappointed you did not bring the box with you. But that said, I totally understand why. So we will guide you through the caves and out a different way, and I'm sure you will be close enough to your havens to get safely back before the dawn arrives.
That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Professor, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you.
Oh, indeed, and all of you. It has been too long, as I say, Albert, and far too long for... We should have done this much sooner before our hands were forced.
Yeah, you should come up to the surface sometime. I mean, I know that it's not entirely to your tastes, but there's some nice stuff up there.
Oh, yes, but I have this, and my work is so important to me.
We understand.
As surly as I may seem, I do wish sort of offer safety to the shop if you do wish to join us at some point. I have a basement that you may feel at home in while visiting. But yes, feel free if you do want to.
It would be remiss of me not to offer the same to you.
We've got a television in the store now. It
Aye.
shows the top of the pops.
We do
Television.
indeed.
It's very interesting.
Aye.
Yes.
Ah,
We've actually had that for, well, it must be at least a year now.
very nice.
Have we?
I mean, that's when you bought it.
Did I? I
Yeah.
don't know. Someone told me to buy something. I bought something. I don't know.
I do distinctly remember not telling you it had arrived at the shop.
I mean, that would explain it.
I hear they are all the rage now.
Apparently so. Yes. I had my first experience of one last night. It was mildly entertaining.
But
I-
it is not what you see. It is the wonderment of sending moving pictures through the very airwaves themselves. I mean, have you thought of it like that?
No.
I mean, think. Moving pictures through the
Mhm.
air.
It surely is a wonderment, but
It is.
it's also, I don't know. It showed me modern music, which is absolute trash.
Oh, I much prefer the classics.
As do I, sir.
That is the third. We have a hat trick.
Oh, damn it.
He smiles. You really don't know whether he set you up for that or not.
No, he
Yeah.
definitely did.
Touche, sir. Touche. You got me on that one.
He smiles. But in all seriousness, I genuinely accept your offer of a safe place, and I reciprocate for you. It is going to be a bumpy ride, I think, whatever happens.
Yes, does sound like it. Having had experiences with the European Camarilla myself in the past, it's in general the whole situation does not sound one that I overly want to get involved with, but have no choice.
I think that is sometimes, unfortunately, the case. But in 50, 60 years, we'll all be laughing about this.
I'm sure we will.
Anyway, I do not wish any of you to meet the final death, so unless you wish to reside in the sewers or the caverns today, which you are more than welcome to do, I suggest you do not tarry.
It's been a
Right,
pleasure, and I will walk
Yeah.
out.
All right.
I will
Alright.
give Casper one last glance before sort of deciding to just leave him where he is.
Okay.
Lovely to see you again, Professor Croup. and,
Indeed. We shouldn't leave it so long next time.
yeah. And goodbye, Casper. I hope you're well. I'll leave it.
He is
Good luck.
just paralysed, staked like a rag doll to the wall. All right, sort of comes back and he kinds of, right, where are we going? Obviously, your haven, back to Stranger Sounds.
I need to go back to my haven, please.
Are you all going there, or are we splitting up?
If you just get us on the surface, I'm sure we can figure out the rest of
Yeah.
it.
Okay, follow me. And he begins to make his way through the caves. You begin to
As-
follow. Yep.
We're walking through the caves. I'm gonna sidle up to Petra and be like, oh, these caves are, I know you said you like the catacombs, but these caves are fascinating. The structure alone is incredible. The amount of different connecting well, I mean, this isn't just one cave. This is hundreds of caves
Yes,
put
I'm
together.
fully aware, James. Thank you
And,
very much for the history
I mean,
lesson on the caves.
They used
I
to
think
be
James,
Yeah,
it's okay.
what? Okay.
Thank you, but it's okay.
It's quite stressful enough getting through this without you drawing attention to it. Thank you.
It's kind of useful because they open up onto a lot of the houses in the cellars,
Oh
so you can just
God.
get
We're
in.
all at it. Oh, you two talk.
People used to live down here. Not just live and then leave. There used to be chapels and forges and
I
you
grab
name it.
Petra's hand and I'm like, can we just get out of here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the caves are not too bad, actually. I mean, the caves very much are perhaps one of the cleanest kind of Nosferatu havens, around. Most Nosferatu do just lurk in the sewers and various kind of workspaces and utility tunnels. But the caves are actually almost built for this purpose. But you eventually get to the sewers, and that's where it gets a little bit
That's
more.
why I'm stressed.
Yeah. And because you are stressed, I'm gonna share the images with you again, just to give you a
No
reminder.
need. It's fine.
Yeah, no,
No
it's
one's
okay.
quite okay.
You make your way through
Oh, thank
these ones, and then you make your way back through these. But eventually, you do indeed find your way back to the surface, or rather, have guided back to your surface. All right, basically says, look, you're good uns. You didn't tell their prof, and I kind of feel I owe you now. So, if you need something doing, I mean, we're talking minor here, minor favour, but I'm your man. Yeah, you don't have
Cheers,
to.
all right.
Right.
Yeah,
You're all right.
I am all right, indeed. Anyway, you best get on. You don't want the sun to come up and catch you unawares. And with that, he doesn't seem to follow. He pulls the sewer cover over the top of him, and he descends down, or rather, he seems to descend down into the sewers. But let's face it, he's a Noz. And I think that is the perfect place for our second break of the night. Will only be 5 minutes. Anybody in chat, please stay tuned, as we no doubt will find the Coterie discussing what on earth they're going to do with the information that they have just found out. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes.